right. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of The Business Hammer. Today, I've got Taylor Vaden with me. Taylor is with Plumbing and Air Service Co. Outside of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So, Taylor, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Why don't you start off? Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's say I've been here coming up 3 years in July. I come from a sales background. I was a sales rep, account executive for the local NBC affiliate here from 2014 till about 2018.
Okay.
And realized real quick that sales wasn't something I wanted to be in the rest of my life.
Right.
So I went through a job change and whatnot, and we can touch on that later. But ended up here 3 years ago, like I said, and started out as what we call a trade administrator, pulling permits and
All the fun
scheduling
stuff.
inspections. Yeah, the fun stuff for all of our installs. And one thing kind of led to another, and ended up in the operations and management position. And I love it. I love this industry, and with the world we live in now with technology, there's so much more that we can do and track.
Yeah.
When I was first approached about coming here, I was like, I have no plumbing or air experience. I know nothing about this at all. And but I'm here, and like I said, I'm loving it. And the industry itself, I think, is booming. From what we see in our market, it's wide open right now.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So how long has Plumbing and Air been in existence?
So we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary.
Okay.
That'll be in July. As Plumbing and Air. Actually started as Plumbing Service Co. and then they added on air not long before I got on board.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's been running wide open, full steam since then, growing as much as we can, like everybody else is trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So what percentage of the business is plumbing versus air?
Honestly, right now it's about 50-50.
Wow.
Going into this time of year, we're doing a little bit more HVAC with change outs and installs, but we see about, I'd say more of it's HVAC change outs right now. Like I said, due to the weather, but there's months that it's just about an even split.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you guys do commercial, residential? What's your jam there?
We do mostly residential, very little. It depends on what department, but we do more commercial with plumbing install. We'll do some commercial with HVAC install, but it's mostly residential and all change outs. Very, very little new construction.
Okay. Interesting. So what keeps you guys away from new construction?
It's more work involved. It's just more planning and more strategizing. Whereas with change outs, usually it's a like for like. It's something that we can turn around in a day or two most of the time, and we help more people. We can reach more people doing that than just trying to take on a new construction job.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've done a few of them since I've been here, and the ones that I've seen, it just seems like it drags out, which is part of it.
Sure. Yeah. So here, at least in Corpus Christi, it seems like the new installs, like the competition for it is just so severe that it just pushes the price down. It's like a race to the bottom. Like who's going to get there first and do it for free, basically. And that's nuts.
It's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of extra work, on the backside to try to get the job and to get your foot in the door. And it's just not something, with our business model, it's not really something we dive into a lot.
Yeah, I understand. I always said, if I had an HVAC company, there's no way. Like, just don't do it. It's just easier. Just go and fix what they have or swap it out and just move on. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So, so what actually got you into plumbing? So, I mean, you're coming off your NBC affiliate, which has absolutely nothing to do with plumbing. And
Nothing.
relaying.
It's kind of a funny story. So like I said, from 2014 till about 2018, I was just pushing sales and trying to make that commission and selling commercials. And we had 4 or 5 budgets you had to try to hit.
Oh
And
yeah,
I got to a crossroads to where it's just like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I don't want to get stuck and not be able to get out of it.
sure.
I'm 33 now. At the time, I would have been, late 20s. I had actually came here to Plumbing and Air and pitched advertising to the general manager and the HVAC manager at the time.
Sure.
So I knew the HVAC manager from a church we used to attend together. His name's Jason. And, I got my foot in the door. We had lunch. I'm trying to sell him advertising. And then we kept in touch. I never could close anything here with them. So, but we kept in touch. And I told Jason about me leaving and looking for something else. And he immediately reached out and said, you should come over at Plumbing and Air. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do?
Right.
I know nothing about the industry. My dad is in construction, but that's as close as I've gotten to anything in the service industry. He said, man, just come over here, find something you can do. There's plenty, we're growing. There's things you can do in the office. So I turned him down the first time. And so during my job change, I do music and ministry on the side. And so I was just doing music. I was gigging, playing gigs, getting week to week, just trying to land what I thought was the perfect job. And we all know there's not really the perfect job out there, but
Sure.
I was trying to find something that I was really going to be interested in and can grow into. So during the 8 months that I was just doing music full time, I got another phone call from Jason. And he's like, man, how's it going? You had any interviews, small talk? And I'm like, nah, nothing's really panning out. I was really pushing for like marketing director positions. I have
Sure.
a degree in marketing. So I was looking for something like that. And he said, well, maybe you can come over here and help us with some of that. Just come in and get your foot in the door. And I turned him down a second time. And so he kept trying. And finally, the third time, it was July of 2019, he reached out and he said, have you found anything? And I'm like, no, nothing's really panning out. He said, give me a chance, come over here, see what you can do. So at that time, it was like, I have nothing to lose anyway.
Sure.
Let's see what it entails. And like I said, I started out in a trade admin role, just pulling permits and scheduling inspections, customer service, a lot of just talking to the customer, making sure that they're good with everything that we're doing, and really getting my feet underneath me. And then I kind of just tapped into things that I'm good at or somewhat good at as far as tracking and reporting. I did have that sales background that helped to some extent. And the way I built a lot of sheets. We use G Suite and Google Drive for a lot of things we do here. Started building a lot of trackers and reporting sheets that we use today, that ties in kind of with what we do with Service Titan. We're a big Service Titan user. So I found ways to just kind of make myself useful. And then the owner of the company at the time got me involved in the marketing side of things, assisting him with marketing, which really was my passion to begin with.
Sure.
So I started doing a little bit of that with him. And then next thing you know, we went through an acquisition last fall, and then moved into the operations role. I was doing a lot of that because Jason, the HVAC manager who got me here, he moved up into the GM role. And so then I moved into the operations role. So it kind of just domino effect. And,
Gotcha.
Here we are. Like I said earlier, I love it. I love tracking and just, data shows us a lot nowadays. And with technology the way it is, there's so much more we can do in this industry.
Right.
I've only got 3 years experience in it, but 20 years ago, we couldn't do the things that we're doing now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because of the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting. You went to Salem advertising and you ended up getting a job. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It sounds like it worked out long term.
It did. Yeah, it was good to have that connection, and just get acquainted with each other here. And it ended up working out, even though I turned them down twice before. Finally said, well, let's do it and see what we can do.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what type of advertising do you guys successfully use?
So what's funny is a colleague of mine at WXI approached me after I started working here. Now we're advertising with that TV station.
That's funny. That's really
So I
funny.
couldn't close the deal, but she could. Anyway, no, we do
That's
TV.
hysterical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She gives me a hard time about that, every now and then. But
Yeah,
it's all good. No, she's great. We have two networks we're on here. We're on the NBC affiliate and the Fox affiliate here. We do direct mail, a lot of digital lead marketing. I mean, we use a lot of different platforms for that. Really just about every platform you can think of, we're doing. We were on billboards. We kind of cut out billboards
sure.
recently, and put more of that money toward other things. But yeah, I mean, we try to be everywhere. We try to be in you vision.
Sure. So where do you guys see your best ROI?
Right now, it's probably going to come from, honestly, we've seen a lot of good ROI off of direct mail, and the lead sources from the digital side. It's it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, you just have to try some of these platforms. Some of them work well, some of them don't. But it's like anything with marketing, you kind of just have to put your foot out there and see what happens, and see if you get any return off of it. And
Sure.
some things work well, like I said, some don't. And it's the marketing funnel, as I like to look at it. Your TV and everything at the top's just for branding, and it's good to be there, because it's a competitive market here, very competitive, especially on the HVAC side. It's you have to be top of mind, and
Sure.
like I said earlier, being in front of everybody is the key here. I feel like, and it's probably that way in other markets. I'm not sure, but it seems very competitive here.
Yeah, absolutely. So how many guys do you guys have working for you on plumbing and HVAC sides?
So we're running 4 install crews on each department right now.
Okay.
We are about 5 or 6 techs on the HVAC service side, and then we're probably 7 or 8 on the plumbing side.
Gotcha. So what is the biggest limiting factor for you guys as far as continuing to grow? Is there a limiting factor? If it is, what is it?
Um, I mean, I think everybody's dealing with trying to find help right now. That's across any industry. We've struggled with that, just getting the right people in here and putting them in the right seat on the bus, as we like to say, and just with it being a competitive market in this industry, it's just as competitive trying to get the right people here.
Yeah.
And I think that's across the board right now for everyone.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the work's there. There's plenty to be done, for plumbing and air in this market, and we've seen an uptick. COVID. I know COVID hurt a lot of people. The pandemic hurt a lot of people, but especially in the beginning, we had some of our best days in the beginning because everybody was tied up at home.
Yeah.
They realized
I got
things weren't
problems.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really didn't seem that big of a shock. For no longer than I had been in the industry, it didn't really seem like much changed here day to day. It was obviously our protocols changed, the way we approached customers changed.
Sure.
But the tracking and reporting of numbers seemed to just take off and get better and better. And it's still that way. So that's the good thing about this industry. It's never really going to die. It's just adapt to changes and keep rolling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I guess my last question for you would be, if somebody has an HVAC or plumbing company or both, and they are looking to try to grow, what's your best advice for them when it comes to advertising? What would you tell them?
I mean, I've always said word of mouth is the best advertising you can have. I think it all starts with the basics of just doing what you say you're going to do. We're real big on reviews and pushing our reviews and getting the customer to speak for us. And if we don't take care of the customer, they're gonna talk about you one way or the other. The customer's going to speak, and so we do everything we can to make sure our customer experience is top notch. And I think if you take care of that first, any marketing you do is just going to be the cherry on top. When people see your name, when people see your brand, they're going to relate to a review that they saw, or somebody that they heard talking about you in the community. So starting from the ground up, which I can't imagine trying to do, and in this market, but it happens every day.
Oh yeah.
It's taking care of the customer and taking care. Once you start getting employees, just making sure that they're happy. And again, it seems like that's the toughest part right now, is just keeping people and keeping them dialed into the vision of the company and the goal of the company. But it all goes back to the customer.
Yeah.
And with our community, we're kind of a tight knit area, between Winston and Greensboro. So you're going to hear about other companies, and it's just making sure that your reputation is top notch, and that you respond to the good and the bad. People are watching how you react to the bad reviews just as much as they are the good ones.
Yep.
So we try to stay on top of all that as well. But that's another thing. I think reviews has been a big part of who we are. If we can back up what we say we're going to do with somebody that we just did work for, that goes a long way in this market.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everybody who is watching this, they have 1,993 Google reviews for an average of 4.8 stars. So talk about doing it right. That's incredible. But I need you to do me a favor. Get 7 more, because 2,000 just seems a lot better than that. Yeah,
I know we're getting there. We'll probably have it in the next day or so, hopefully.
There you go. I like it. Awesome, sir. Well, I appreciate your time today, and good luck as you continue to grow in the business and help grow the business. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.